the 5-minute version of your story that you tell people? That would be sort of the first question, I think.
Okay, yeah. So when I was 20 years old, I was involved in a really bad car accident that left me paralyzed from the waist down, and also let me, lose one of my legs. So I am an amputee as well. And I lost my boyfriend. I was dating him for a year, and I lost him. So everything happened so quickly. Life can change, in a blink of an eye, and you just don't know that it will happen. So anyway, so that's my story. That's how I got injured. I am from Peru. I born in Peru, and I moved back to the States when I was 19. So I pretty much had my accident like a year later.
Wow.
So at that time I was attending college. I didn't know English. I was here in America because I was learning English in college. And then, so I didn't learn English, and then the accident happened. No, I didn't know how to speak English, and then the accident happened. And yes, imagine having all these injuries and not being able to understand the doctors, not being able to understand, that you will never walk again, why they have to amputate their leg more. Because what happened is that when the car got hit, first of all, our driver was drinking and driving. So when he got hit by someone who was exiting the highway, we were in the service road, he lost control, and the Jeep flipped over. We had those Jeeps that didn't have the cover up. So that's when, I got ejected from the car. And when I got ejected, my left heel got stuck under the co-pilot seat. So when I got ejected, the strength like ripped off my leg from my foot. So, and then, I hit the tree, I fell down, and I remember pretty much everything. I never lost consciousness.
Wow.
And the sprinkler system came on, and I was drowning. I fell inside bushes. They couldn't find me. And it was really bad. So that water, that mud got into my blood system on my leg, got infected. So yeah, they have to amputate it above the knee. And so just imagine not understanding in that moment when you're in the hospital bed with a bunch of medications and you're so much drugs, like, we need to take you to the operating room. We have to amputate your leg. You have to sign this paper. And I'm like, okay, first, I don't understand. I know that I have a translator here, but why this is happening? And when you're paralyzed, half of your body, like my paralysis is half body, waist down. You don't understand much. You don't know what is a spinal cord injury. You have never heard about it in your life. You probably, I have seen a lot of people in wheelchairs, but I could never imagine that the reason why they are in wheelchairs is because they have a spinal cord injury.
Yeah.
So it was pretty scary.
I'm sure.
For me. It was pretty hard, and because I had so much going on. I had the language barrier. I had, this new disability on me. I was heartbroken because I lost the love of my life, at that time. And so, yeah, it took me a while to get out of the depression zone. But I was lucky that I was able to have the support of my mother and my siblings. And, and of course, when you have such a life-changing, sorry, my English, I'm trying to translate.
Okay.
It's a life-changing situation. Yeah. You lost many of your friends that you thought that they were your friends, because they're also grieving and they don't know how to cope.
Yeah.
So they walk away, right? So you lose many things in your life when you have an accident. but you always have to see that if you move forward, if you shake it up a little bit, better things come into your life. And I think that's what happened to me. I have my grieving process. I have to go back to my new normal, because now Marcela is still Marcela, but now Marcela uses a wheelchair. Marcela is a human. Marcela has still the same needs. But a few things has changed in her life. And so I have to adjust to that. I have to adapt to that. Adapting is very important. And I always tell everyone, try to adapt to your situation, because the more you adapt, the more you accept it, the easier will be for you to just move forward, because you're not going to be thinking about, oh, I want my old life. I wish I can walk again. I wish I can use this and that back, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I know that not everyone is the same. And I know that for some people it's harder than others. But for me, I had to do what I had to do to survive. Yeah. You know what I mean? I never dreamt, I never wanted to have a bad life in a wheelchair. This is one of the reasons why I never came back to my country, because I knew that my country is far, far, far away from inclusion and accessibility right now.
Yes.
And so, and then also, we don't have good healthcare system for disabled people there. So the best choice for me was to stay here. Yeah. And so I came here with the student visa, and then my student visa expired, and then I didn't have medical insurance. I was here illegally. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty hard. Sure. It wasn't easy. Just being disabled in America with no papers. But but I had a lot of people in my life that helped me. Mm-hmm. I have good mentors. And I had good people that always tried to help me with whatever I didn't, I didn't have. And thanks to them, I am who I am. I think that I will be forever grateful for everything they have done for me during my hardest times. Yeah. And this is and I always try to remember this when I need to help someone, help them like they help you. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So after that, I went to school. I am the kind of person that always like everything. So I took a cybercrime program. Mm. I did communications in University of Austin Peay. And then I became a mother.
Wow.
Yeah. I
didn't realize that.
Yeah. My daughter is 13 years. Yeah. So I had her after
you look way too young to be the mother of a 13-year-old.
Yeah. So I had my daughter after my accident. So 2 years later after my accident, Michaela. And she is, the love of my life. Right now, she's a teenager. So you know how teenagers, behave sometimes. Mm-hmm. They want to be their own independent woman, but they cannot be independent woman until they can go to college and pay their own bills. But she's I'm happy to, when you write the story, I can send you a photo of her. I do not share much about my daughter in social media. Mm-hmm. She's very private, even with her own friends, and that was a request of hers that she didn't want me to post about her or post photos. And most of her friends know that I am in Instagram and I have a big following. Mm-hmm. I mean, I always tell Michaela, it's not like a big following. It's just like, it's small number comparing to other accounts. And all these moms, put their kids there and you don't let me. And she say, no, because I don't want my school to know, I don't want my photos there. So I have to respect what what she's asking
Of course,
me,
yeah.
especially when she is already a teenager and
Yeah.
she's making the choice to not share much about her private life
Yeah.
herself. So as a mom, I have to just listen to her. So yeah, she's 13. I had the most normal pregnancy after my spinal cord injury. I was able to drive until I was 9 months.
Wow.
I never got sick, and yeah, it was pretty nice to be a mother. You know, I was told when I was in the hospital that because of my injuries, the severity of my injuries, I wouldn't be able to have babies. But in the years later, God blessed me with a daughter, and
Oh, that's so wonderful.
yeah. And now it's like, oh, sometimes now, right now, I'm like, you know, I'm close to my 40s, believe it or not. I'm 38. And you know, sometimes I want to have a baby and sometimes I don't want to have a baby. So because you know, now you see all these people on Instagram with their babies, so cute. Like,
I know.
no, I want a baby so I can post it on my Instagram. No, that's not the case. But it's just, but yeah. So yeah, she really keeps me busy every day. So that's why I take forever to respond. But sometimes, like on the summer, she goes with daddy. Him and I have a really good relationship. You know, we are very good friends after, you know, we remain very good friends after our divorce, and we've been married for 12 years. So I know him, he knows me, and we try to be a team for Michaela. And um, and he really helps me, and he gives me my breaks. Like when you see me, you know, in Israel, India, Hong Kong, it's because he has my daughter.
Yeah.
And he's a great father, so I never worry about my daughter when I'm gone, because he is really perfect for her, and they really connect to each other. So yeah, that's a part of my story.
Yeah.
I worked for many years in the healthcare industry. I worked for big corporations, and I love it because I had the best benefits. So you probably know about that. Like healthcare is amazing, and yeah. So until a year and a half ago, I decided to stop working and focusing on what I really want to do forward, because I didn't want to have a job from 8 to 5 anymore. I was I worked so many years, and also I did Regal Robotics, as you know. I was one of the global ambassadors for them, and I did it for 5 years. So I had to travel all over the country to educate physicians and physical therapists about the power of this technology on people with a spinal cord injury, which it helped me build a profile and be known in the community, because at that time that was like a brand new technology coming up. And so, and then I traveled with the company globally too, to different countries to promote. I made very interesting public figures. So that was another type of job, you know,
Absolutely.
another type of another source of income. So I'm like, you know, working my over 40 hours a week, plus doing rewalk, plus going to university and raising my kid. It's a lot, you know. And so that's why I decided to take a break a year and a half ago, and right now I'm just focusing on, you know, on relaxing, on traveling, and also on what I want to do next. And it's, I don't know why it's taking me so long to find out. I guess it's because I really love traveling, and I don't want to be committed to something else right now, because it will take my whole time, and I won't travel. And I think that's one. But yeah, I'm trying to find out what I want to do next, what business I want to create for myself. But right now I'm just like focusing on my charity work that I'm doing, you know, with my brand.
Like, it seems like it must have been a lot of pressure to work for Rewalk and be this public figure, like you're saying, because people come to you and they say, I need help, or how did you get through this hard time? And I think that must be really hard. And I wonder, I mean, it sounds like it's also amazing, but I'm interested in the challenges of being a public figure when your fame is sort of related to your body and your experience. That could feel kind of personal, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes can be very exhausting.
Yeah.
And sometimes you really do not want to share. But I do believe on the power of mentorship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a good mentor helped me to overcome my disability, to, you know, and this is why I try my best to help them without them being too invasive, because sometimes I feel like they want to know so much about my life and what I do and where do I get my money and where, you know what I mean? And to me, it's like, okay, I am willing to help you if you're struggling, but not so much getting into my personal life, because if you think about it, I do not talk much about my personal life in my social media. Like you didn't even know I have a daughter. You know what I mean?
That's why I was surprised.
And so I don't show many of my friends. I just try to have a private life too. And so, I mean, what I was saying earlier is that I do help them. You know, if I have a girl that says, Marcela, you know, I'm having trouble doing this and I don't know how to do it and I'm frustrated. I say, look, this is what I learned in rehab. This is what I learned on, you know, going to occupational therapy. It may work for you. You know, let's give them tips, right? About self-confidence. Self-confidence is something that a person must work on their own. You know what I mean? If you want to help someone, like I was talking to a mom 2 days ago. She's from Argentina. I talk to people all over the world, but I like mostly the Spanish ones, right? So, and she was telling me that her stepdaughter was injured in a car accident a year ago, and she became a quad. So in Argentina, they had their physical therapists. She have two. The girl has two aides, you know, people that help her. And then the families are separated, and it seems that there is a conflict between mom and dad. You know, mom sometimes do not want to take care of her. So because, and I was telling her, I told the stepmom, and I say, you don't know how exhausting it is for a parent, because if you think about it, the person that had the injury is not the only who suffers. And that comes from someone that is disabled. You know what I mean? That accident, that tragedy affects everyone, you know, emotionally and mentally. So if I have my daughter, and she get into an accident, it will be just heartbreaking for me. I will just, you know, get crazy. And I don't know how my mom was able to handle this so well, but she was also very rough with me. She was like, I am not going to babysit you. I am not going to, you know, take care 100% of you. You have to learn to be independent with this injury. And you know why she thought about that? She didn't know nothing about a spinal cord injury, Erin, nothing. She was like me. But my mentor, you know, the one that came into my life 6 months after my accident, he was able to do everything. He was driving his Hummer. At that time, the Hummer cars were so popular. He was a you know, higher level injury than me. He could water ski, handbike, seat ski. He could do all these sports. He ran a very successful business here in Dallas, medical equipment business. And he was like so handsome. And my mom, when she saw him, she thought, my daughter can do that too. right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so, and that's why you work on that every single day. You have to do this, you have to do that. So, and I will never say, Mom, you were mean to me. On the contrary,
Yeah.
I will say, thank you so much for not doing everything for me.
Yeah.
Because if you have done it, I wouldn't have been the person I am today. I am very rough, like inside, like there's, in my mind, there's never a no.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you that I am the most positive woman in the world, but if I want something, I make sure that happens because there's no. So I'm gonna give you an example of what my mom did when I was 6 months after my injury. So she, before my accident, like 2 months earlier, before my accident, early, she bought like a really nice Grand Cherokee Jeep car. And I love her car so much. And so when I had my accident 6 months later, she wanted me to go back to school. She wanted me to go, do my babysitters, if my, my babysitting, if these ladies wanted to work, because most of these ladies, oh yeah, Marcela, come and play with my kids, in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. So she took me to the hand control place, to the hand control business, whatever. And she said, I want you to put hand controls to my daughter. She put hand controls on her Jeep.
Amazing.
And she just said, this is your car now.
Wow.
I was 20 years old. I was, paralyzed from the waist down. I never thought that I would be able to drive.
Yeah.
And I say, Mom, I'm not driving. I can kill myself. I cannot even use my legs. I said, you have the hand controls. I said, yeah, I can. So one day she went to Home Depot, where's Home Depot, and left the car in her garage. I was alone in the house and we had a really bad thunderstorm. And then she said, Marcela, your dad dropped me here and I don't have nobody to take me home. Wow. And the storm is coming. So you need to come and get me.
But she really challenged you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I say, Mom, it's raining really bad. It seems that we're going to have a tornado warning and you want me to go pick you up to, to Home Depot. And I am in a wheelchair, don't you see? She say, I don't have nobody to pick me up. Your dad is far away, so you have to come. Yeah. So what would you do for your mother, right? I actually let my mother there. So just imagine the whole process of me getting into the car, putting my wheelchair myself, like, taking the wheels, putting everything, next to me, and then turning on the car and then driving with hand controls. I was pretty much crying.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I was crying since I, the whole driving I was crying. I can't believe that my mom let me do this. I can't believe that my mom let me do this. I was driving, it's raining and I'm here, and, and when I got to the store, she looked at me and she smiled.
Amazing.
And she said, just take me back home. And, and since then, when that happened, I really like it. I really like to drive, that I was able to go to college myself. I was able to go shopping myself. Like if I need to go to the mall or need to go to the pharmacy or I need to go to physical therapy or see my doctors, I would just go myself. I didn't need my mom anymore. You know what I mean? Incredible. And then I started making friends. And the real problem for my mom was when it was already 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and Marcela wasn't. Wasn't at home. When it was 4 o'clock in the morning, Marcela's not at home. Where is Marcela? She's driving, And so that was her real problem. And I said, aha, you know what I mean? So you give me a little bit of independence and just I stretch it to the fullest. So, but anyway, so yeah, that was very funny. That's one of the things that I always share on every interview about the power of trust. Yeah. You need to trust your your family members, and and also trust yourself that you can do
Mhm.
you can do it.
Yeah.
It's all about trusting and self-confidence, and I'm glad that I was able to overcome that at such a early time, because not many people are able to do it. And yeah, this
That's
is
amazing.
yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I also
I
wanted to
feel
ask
like I think that when I read if I ever write a book, I have to share all the things that I have done and what my mom has made
yeah.
me do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. And I really think that one of the reasons we wanted to interview you was because you celebrate independence so much, and that's such an important aspect for our community members, regardless of what their experience is, whether they have a mental illness or a physical disability or a sensory disability. They're always looking for people to give them space to be independent, like your mom did, which is incredible. I wanted to ask you about travel. So you said a little bit about Peru. Have you had is it interesting when you go to other countries, like, do you experience sort of the different culture around disability because you have traveled so much? Or has it been, I mean, I'm sure it's been amazing, but have there been any experiences that were surprising or really different from the US?
Let me tell you something, and I just want to say this real quick before I go further. But I am very grateful to live in America.
Yeah.
Because when you travel the world
Mm.
and you see it with your own eyes, you get to see how difficult life with the disability can be in that place, right? So in America, I feel like, yeah, we're not there 100% like we want. We don't have 100% in inclusion, and we don't have 100% accessibility. But when I compare about all the other places that I have been, I'm like, I need to shut up and be thankful for what I have right now,
Yeah.
and never stop fighting for it. But I just need to be grateful and thankful.
Yeah, at the same time, sort of the advocacy and appreciating it, I guess.
Yes, yes, you have to advocate, but also be appreciative of what you have. Because when you go to the real world out there, because I feel like in America we are in a bubble. We live in the number one country in the world. The best country in the world, and sometimes we don't realize that we have a lot. And so so anyways, I have been in Peru. The situation in Peru for people with spinal cord injuries or disabilities is not good. Many live in extreme poverty. We don't have a good disability system where they can get monetary like we all do.
Yeah.
We don't have good health care. Not many people can have the nice wheelchairs that we do. So that's like in Peru. Like as far as inclusion, people keep fighting for that. And accessibility, I think that Peru is still working on it. It's not 100% there, but I think that they're working, especially on the tourist places. But I don't want to see that on only tour places. When I would advocate for accessibility, I want to see it everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I always try to put myself as I am a citizen of that country. And if I live there, how I am going to live my life if my city is not accessible? And that's what I always, try to mention that on my social media. We deserve to live with dignity, and we cannot be helped all the time or be carried all the time to go to a public place or to go to a bar or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, it's embarrassing. And we also need to build a good social life.
Yeah.
And if we want to build a good social life, we need to avoid these kind of experiences. And what the governments can do to help us is make it more accessible, make it more inclusive, educate others about the disabilities of people. I think that this is something that I always advocate too, is that we need to add a good program that delivers good information about people with disabilities. And I think that we need to include it in every single university out there.
Yeah.
Especially when we are focusing on like building designs, architecture, or in the travel world, it could be like the host, what is this? Like for me on the travel, also on the travel field, hospitality too, for people with disabilities, stuff like that. So I think that we really need to add a course about disability. So
idea.
Because this is mostly about education. This is when sometimes people get mad at me because I call them that they're ignorant, and I don't say it ignorant with such a bad thing. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying people ignores the fact. The people ignores our needs, and like I ignore many things about computers. You know what I mean? I don't know about computers, so but I don't say it in a bad. I don't mean bad. I mean well when I say it. So I think that if we educate more people, we will be better, in that aspect, because I think that will be, people will be more, will accept more, will accept us more, because they will know. Right now, what people see outside is that if they see people in a wheelchair, they're sick, right? Yeah. Like I had a comment yesterday that someone said, they probably are questioning themselves why they're helping you. You look so healthy to be in a wheelchair. And I am like, people in wheelchairs are also healthy. You know what I mean? Yep. So that was my answer. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. Yeah. It's just that this person is not being educated or doesn't know anything about disability. Yeah. And sometimes I am too harsh, and sometimes sometimes I'm being hard. And it's not that I'm feeling attacked. Yeah. Because I don't feel attacked, but hey, listen, this is what's going on, and I don't have the time to explain you word for word. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can just say everything in one sentence and make you understand that not everyone in wheelchairs are the people in wheelchairs are not healthy. That's totally wrong. So
it's amazing that people still make those assumptions.
Yeah, they make tons of assumptions for us. Like if I feel sometimes that there are the disabled people and not us. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because they feel for us. They think for us. They do everything for us. I mean, what's going on? Just like chill out and learn, And if you ever follow me in social media, see my life. See, try to get into what Marcela, is doing, how she's overcoming, because you can see it in every single account that you follow, Yeah. You can see our struggles. You can see our up and downs. And I try to be very, very, how can I say, authentic. Like you can see my videos are not edited. I don't like to edit many of my videos. This is why I have decided not to create yet a YouTube channel. Yeah. Because traveling is, for people with disabilities, is not very easy. It's possible, you can have an amazing time if you program, if you book it with a luxury travel agency. In reality, not many people with disability, especially young kids, can afford luxury travels. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that I cannot afford those, but I want to live like I cannot afford it. So that's why when I travel, I book everything, always the cheap. I don't stay in nice resorts. I go there naturally and experience everything I can, and it's possible for me. And if I cannot do it, I just ask people for help and make videos of it. And when I post it in Instagram, it's like, this is like the reality here.
Yeah, so people can really see what it would be like.
Yeah, this
That
is
makes
like,
sense.
if you live here, this is what you will have to experience.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I know that in the beginning, yeah, you need, you know, when you're a social media, you know, as Instagram is a visual platform, you know, it's all about pictures and photos. So the most, you know, the nicest photo, you know, if you take a nice photo, you can get lots of likes and comments and be likable and have a lot of following and stuff like that. But in my situation, it's not like that. You know, I cannot be taking nice photos and put like inspirational stuffs
Yeah.
when I have seen a lot of unfair, you know, treatment out, around the world.
Yeah.
And I want to focus on accessibility, and I want to bring, make people bring awareness about my struggles as a wheelchair users and my good experiences, as a wheelchair user and my experiences. So when I post these and write about these, I don't only meant it for people in wheelchairs, people with disabilities, but also for everyone.
Yeah.
Because it can become an educational tool for everyone, really, right?
Yeah.
And this is why I refuse to just do the nice photos and the nice videos and I'm taking a like a nice photo here behind Eiffel Tower, I'm smiling in a wheelchair. No, how did you get there? What was the process? What all of the for me is important.
Yeah.
So
I could see you having a travel show on the Travel Channel. I feel like
you know what?
That.
I would love to if they pay everything for me. I really would love to, but for right now, it is what it is. I if I have these resources or this way to travel and inform people about my struggles as a wheelchair user, I'll do it.
What's your favorite place to travel to?
Everyone asks me this, and most of my friends who live in the other countries that I have visited, they get mad at me. But the best country for me that I have visited is Israel.
Yeah.
I love Tel Aviv because in Tel Aviv you have amazing nightlife, so it's easy to make friends. Everyone is very warm and welcome. You have the beach, which is amazing. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, yeah, you can do so many sports there. I love that country. I mean, the food is delicious. You're close to Jesus' land. I felt so peaceful when I was there that I came back from Hong Kong and I stayed there for 3 more weeks. And that wasn't that plan, but I extended because I really like it. And that's one. And I can see that the government and these accessibility organizations are really working hard on inclusion and accessibility. I cannot say that Israel is 100% accessible because I have been in places that aren't, but I mean, they're trying their best to make it accessible. And that's what I like about them. When we go to, and this is probably, you have heard about these, like most cities do not want to make their places accessible because they don't want to ruin architecture. They don't want the architecture, or they don't want to ruin the buildings if they add lift, or to me, that's a big BS. And I could see that, like, I could see a different story in Israel. I mean, we're talking about Jerusalem, and it's like a ancient city, and they're building an elevator there. It's one of the most sites visited in the world. And they don't mind about building accessible restrooms and elevators in Jerusalem.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's amazing because they're giving opportunity for everyone to visit the Holy Land.
Yeah.
I love it.
Incredible. That's such a good travel tip. I haven't heard it from anyone who traveled there recently. So that's really a great travel tip.
Yeah, the good thing about Israel is everything is close. So it's a small country.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just get a car and go to the Dead Sea, go to Masada, go to so many sites. It's so beautiful. I love it.
I've heard it's incredibly beautiful. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I also wanted to ask you if you think, I won't keep you that long, but if you want to say anything, like, do you still use a rewalk, or do you still find it helpful?
Yes, my rewalk is like, it's a part of me already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's something that I need. You know what I mean? I don't do it for show. It's already incorporated into my life. I have been a user for over 5 or 6 years now. Yeah. And so it has helped me a lot with my weight. It has helped me a lot with my upper body strength. And for me, it's difficult right now to use it every single day. Like I would love to do it because my spotter live 45 minutes away from here, and you need to have someone, you need to have a helper to help you, right? So I am single right now. I don't have a partner, so I don't have someone who can come and help me walk, like carry the device to the park and go and walk there with me. So my spotter is 45 minutes away, and with this pandemic, he cannot come and see me. So it's very hard. Yeah. So he was here in March. Since March, I haven't used it.
Wow.
But if I ever have the opportunity to walk again, if he can come and say, Marcela, I can go. The problem is that he's afraid to put me at risk because his mom is an essential employee. So she goes to work every single day, and she's surrounded by different people. So he's afraid that he will bring that here. Yeah. And so it's a pretty hard situation. And so, that's why I cannot walk right now. But my rewalk is a part of my life. I don't see my life without it. It has helped me so much. And I think that all this energy and great vitality that I have is because of it, mentally has helped me to switch the mindset of never being able to walk again, like to walking again. Okay. Yeah. I'm not fully walking again by myself, but I have something that helps me walk. Yeah. So so I think it's it feels so good to have two options,
totally.
The option of sitting or the option of walking. And right now I have those two options. So
that's amazing. And that what you're saying, it's interesting because that's another like invisible outcome of the pandemic that's affecting people with disabilities. Like you wouldn't think, oh, someone can't use their rewalk because of this pandemic, but actually that is one of the outcomes. And so I think people don't realize the variety of ways that people could be influenced by this kind of event,
Yeah.
But I'm so glad you've had such a positive experience with that. That's awesome. We've heard amazing things about it from a lot of our users, that it helps them stretch and it helps them gain strength and just like feel a lot better in their bodies.
Yeah, it is. It like I say, my unit is the P50 because I was one of the first people in the country to have one at home, and so I have the old unit. I don't have the new one because my insurance doesn't pay for it. But I mean, rewalk is. I mean, I'm not trying to just like be biased because I know there are other exoskeletons in the market. And each individual get to choose which exoskeleton works for them. But in general, the technology is amazing. What these exoskeletons are able to do for someone with a spinal cord injury is just like, it's really like the health benefits are just, it's just amazing. It's uncomfortable, yes, when you don't know, if it's your first time, when you're not used to the device, when, it could be uncomfortable. It could be like terrifying. It could be like exhausting, especially when you're being for many years in a chair, but once you adjust to it and just include it, in your mind, like it's a part of my body, things get easier,
That's incredible. So this has been so great to meet you. We've wanted to meet you for a long time.
Okay, so you can follow me in Instagram, The Journey of a Brave Woman. And I put that name because I created that name because I am a brave woman. Everyone is brave when they decide to defy the odds and overcome adversities. You know what I mean? So everyone is brave. So, but I put The Journey of a Brave Woman. So I am brave. And I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram page with that name. And also I have my charity work that is the Brave Woman Shop, where if you buy a shirt, I am able to donate 100% to all sales to people with disabilities that live on, you know, on places in the world that are, you know, are extreme, you know, like live on extreme poverty. So right now with the pandemic, I'm helping feed them right now. And one organization is doing that, which I didn't know that you guys could do that. But, you know, 2 weeks ago, I was able to fundraise enough to feed 23 children with disabilities, but extreme disabilities. And I send the money, and I took, you know, they send me photos, and right now I am trying to see if I should make a video of what I have done so far with everything. Besides, I already posted about India, but I'm donating another amount to India this week to feed 20 children with disabilities right now that live on extreme poverty. And so I want to continue doing this and helping, you know, everyone affected by the pandemic, because most of the families, they live day by day, and the next day they don't have work. So they don't have money to eat. And so I feel like I need to help them. I wanted to use the funds to do another event where I will make, you know, a place accessible in whatever country I choose. But right now, these people don't need ramps. These people need food. And this is why I'm committed to donate 100% to whatever to these people. So
Amazing.
yeah.
It was so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.